Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing something slightly different, and I'm going to be giving some tips and tricks on how to make playing the guitar a little bit easier if you're just starting out as a beginner, or if you just want a simple accompaniment for your singing and you want to show off your amazing vocals and just have the guitar in the background as a little extra something. This video is going to be helpful for you guys as well. So I can imagine this video is going to be slightly controversial, and if you are a proper guitar player, this video isn't going to be very useful for you. It's just simple things you can do to replace certain things, like for example, I hate playing bar chords, so I'm going to be showing a few ways you can get around that. And if you're learning to play the guitar properly and you want to become a professional guitarist, then this video probably isn't for you, because it's not going to help you progress if you want to learn to play the guitar properly and professionally. However, if you just want some simple tips and tricks, keep on watching and I'm going to be showing them to you now. So the first trick I'm going to be showing you is how to play an easy F chord. Now, the standard F chord is a bar chord, and it's like this. So you bar the second fret and you play the E chord with the rest of your fingers, and the chord sounds like this. However, I find it really hard to bar the whole of the second fret, so I prefer to play the F chord like this. So you're going to use the first fret and you're going to bar just the last two strings. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to call the strings 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the high E string at the bottom is going to be your first string. So what you're going to do is you'll want to bar the first fret of the second and first strings, and your other fingers are going to be playing the second fret on the third string and the third fret on the fourth string. It's a really simple chord and it sounds like this. So as you can see, it sounds slightly different to the main F chord. However, when you sing along and you're playing a song, you don't really notice it. And that makes me on to my second point, which is songs in the key of D major. Now, if you have apps like Ultimate Guitar and Tabs, they will show you a sequence of chords and the lyrics written underneath so you can play along to a song. And you may come across a lot of songs that are in the key of D major and they feature these four chords. So you've got D, you've got A, you've got the bar chord of B minor, and you've got G. Now that's a very regular chord sequence, which I'm going to be coming on to in my next point. However, the B minor is just like the F, it's really hard to play and it sounds like this. It's a very pretty chord, I just don't like playing it, and it's a really tricky chord for beginners to get used to quickly. So if you want an alternative to this chord sequence that sounds exactly the same and you want to put it into the same key, then all you need to do is you need to take a capo, and you just put the capo on the second fret and you play it in the key of C. So you play the chords C, G, A minor, and the new F chord that we just learned. And that is the exact same chord progression in the exact same key. And this chord progression that I've just shown you, whether you play it in the key of D or you play it in the key of C, the four chords C, G, A minor and F are the most common chord progression you're ever going to come across, and you can play hundreds and hundreds of songs with this exact same chord progression. And then if you can mix it up a little bit and say, for example, instead of playing C, G, A minor, F, you play C, F, A minor, G, there's even more songs. And most songs just feature these four chords, no matter what key they're in. Maybe they're in the key of E and you put the capo on the fourth fret. You can pretty much play hundreds and hundreds of songs with this exact same chord progression, which I think is really cool. And if you want to know all of the list of songs, you can just type it in on Google and it will tell you a massive list of songs that you can play using just these four chords, which I think is amazing. However, when you play this sequence and you've played it a billion times, it can get quite repetitive and it can sound in your head slightly boring. And you may come across a song where it doesn't quite sound quite right, it sounds too happy, too cheerful, and you want to make it sound a little bit more mysterious and airy. You can use a chord called C over G, and it sounds like this. And I think this is a beautiful chord. Now all you need to do to be able to play this chord is, if you make the C chord, all you need to do is lift your finger off the 3rd fret. You won't be using the 3rd fret. And then with the 2nd fret, just move your finger from the 4th string to the 5th string, like this. And the finger that's on the 1st fret stays where it is on the 2nd string. And that's your C over G chord. Now a good example of where this chord is used is in the song Cornelia Street by Taylor Swift. Now if you know me and you've watched some of my other videos, you know I'm a massive Taylor Swift fan and I make lots of guitar tutorials on her songs. But I think this song is really beautiful because it uses this chord. And you can play this song and it sounds absolutely fine using the standard C, G, A minor and F. So I'll give you an example. People in the back street, drunk on something stronger than the drinks in the bar. I rent a place on Cornelia Street, I sit casually in the car. So that's what it sounds like with the C, G, A minor, F, and you know it sounds okay. However, some people can hear that it just sounds a little bit too happy and cheerful for this song. And I just think it sounds beautiful like this. People in the back street, drunk on something stronger than the drinks in the bar. I rent a place on Cornelia Street, I sit casually in the car. And that's how she plays it in the recording, and I just think it sounds much better than using the G chord, but it's essentially the same thing. And you can use this with any songs. So for example, the song With or Without You by U2. It starts with, see the stone set in your eyes, see the thorn twist in your side, and I wait for you. Now if I play it with the C over G chord, it sounds like this. See the stone set in your eyes, see the thorn twist in your side, and I wait for you. It works just as well, and it just gives a little bit more of a melancholy feel. So the next tip I'm going to be giving you guys is to do with time signatures. Now, when you're playing a song, you can basically use the same strumming pattern for most of the songs you play. So for example, the song I just showed you, With or Without You, I'm just playing a basic strumming pattern like this. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And I use this strumming pattern for all songs that are in the key of 4/4, which by the way, is most of them. Now, you've probably come across this before, where you've gone on to type in a song in Google that you want to play, and you've gone on to Ultimate Guitar, and it brings up the chord sequence. So you're playing along, and you're trying to play along to the lyrics of the songs, but you're finding that something isn't right, something isn't matching up. You can't seem to match up the strumming pattern with the vocals. This is probably because the song is in 6/8 or 3/4. And you wouldn't have noticed because I don't think it tells you on there what time signature the song is in. So you've probably come across that before. Now what I'm going to be showing you is a strumming pattern that you can use with songs that are in this key. Now there are quite a few songs that are in this key. Some of the songs include Lover by Taylor Swift, Dear John by Taylor Swift, and another few songs by Taylor Swift. And there are also songs like The Only Exception and Iris, so they're quite popular songs and they're in the key of 6/8 or 3/4. And I'll give you an example of the strumming pattern I'm using while I sing these songs. So I'm going to be singing The Only Exception because I think quite a lot of people know this song. It's quite a popular song, it's a beautiful song, and it starts like this. Darling, you are the only exception. as you can see, I'm using the strumming pattern down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And this works with all songs that are in time signature of 6/8 and the time signature of 3/4. So I'm going to try it with another song. So for example, Dear John, it goes, Dear John, I see it all now, it was wrong. Don't you think I was too young to be messed with? The girl in the dress cried the way home. I should have known. Up, down, up, down. And you can use it with another song, for example, Lover. It goes, we can leave the Christmas lights up till January. This is our place, we make the rules. Can I go where you go? Can we always be this close? You get the point. And another one is Iris. This is a really popular song. It goes, and I'll give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. And you can see that works for that one as well. So there are lots of different songs where you can use that strumming pattern and it will work. And if you try and use the strumming pattern for a song that's in 4/4, for example, I'll go back to Cornelia Street. How does it go? People in the back street, drunk on something stronger than the drinks in the bar. You can just see it doesn't work how it should work. And that's the difference between 4/4 and 6/8. And I don't know much about time signatures. I did study music in GCSE and I've forgotten everything from the syllabus. But if you do want to know exactly how this works, you can look the information up on the internet and it will tell you exactly. It will explain this better. But all I can say is that chord sequence works for the key of 6/8 and the key of 3/4. So the next tip I'm going to be showing you guys is how to play variations of the C and D chord to make the songs sound different. So the regular C chord, the standard C chord is like this. That's the standard C chord. Now, however, if you want to play a C add 9 chord, which sounds like this, and this chord, you can play it with the 3rd fret, 5th string, 2nd string and 1st string, and the 2nd fret, 4th string, and it sounds like this. It's very, very similar to the G chord, which is just the top 2 fingers up 1 string. So it works really well with songs in the key of G because you're playing both the G chord and the C add 9. I love it, it's a really beautiful song. For Taylor Swift fans out there, by the way, this can be used for songs like Begin Again and 15. It's got that nice 15 sound. And I'm sorry if you're not a Taylor Swift fan and you're watching this video, because I do reference her a lot. It's just I know a lot about her songs and it's easier to reference her songs when I'm talking about examples of things, if you get me. And another chord that you can make a variation of is the D chord. So the D chord, it sounds, in my opinion, very happy, very energetic. However, if you were playing a song that you want it to sound more melancholy, more sad, more mysterious, you can do a really simple trick that I like to use, where you play the C chord and you shift it up 2 frets. Now, bearing in mind, it only works with the C chord. It doesn't work with any other chords. You can't use the G, for example, and shift that up 2 frets. It only works with the C. Playing the C, you just shift it up 2 frets. You get a chord that sounds like that. And I think this sound is really, really nice. So that moves me on to my final tip that I'm going to be giving you guys, which is a simple fingerstyle pattern. It's like an introduction to fingerstyle. And you can use this with any chord you like. Doing is I'm starting on the G chord and I'm going plucking the 6th string, then plucking the 2nd string, then the 3rd string, then the 6th string again. So 6, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3. And then I move down to the C add 9 chord and I'm plucking the 5th string. And the reason I'm doing this is because the C add 9 doesn't involve the 6th string, so the 6th string is mute. You don't play the 6th string, so you just play the 5th string instead, and it's 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3. And then I move to the E minor, again 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, and the D chord. 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And again, the D chord doesn't involve the top 2 strings, so it doesn't involve the 6th or the 5th string. So it's 4. And like I said, you can do this with any chord. And it's just an introduction to fingerstyle, which again isn't very hard to multitask with the singing. So that's all the tips and tricks I'm going to be giving you guys today. I hope this helped any of my beginner guitarists out there. And if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It would mean a lot. And I will see you next time.